In this video, I'm going to show you step by step how I'm able to make stunning videos like this with both the image as well as the text on the screen, the caption that is really powerful, all with AI agents and N8N. I'm going to go over the entire workflow step by step so that you can do it too, you can do it quicker, and you don't make the same mistakes that I made. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm just going to run this to show you what this looks like. We're going to refresh. This is all posted on Instagram without really any intervention by me now that it's up and running. But let's go ahead and run this just to show you exactly what this looks like step by step. So we've got 4 images on the screen. If I just hit test workflow, hopefully I get this without any errors. While that's running, let's go ahead and just talk about a brief overview of what's happening in the background. The first thing I did is I set up an Airtable, and I set it up with a bunch of keywords. As you can see here, we've got a few columns here. We've got the keyword, so the keyword that people are searching for on Google. Then we've got the seed keyword or primary keyword. And then I've got a simple yes or no if it was uploaded to Instagram, followed by the IG caption, which I could repurpose later. And then a link if I wanted to, a date it was posted, the raw image, and then when it was last modified. So I set this up ahead of time. Of course, this is real simple. There are a lot of tutorials on how to do that. The next thing that you want to do is you want to make sure that you have an Instagram business account, an Instagram business page. And the other thing that you want to make sure that you have too is you want to make sure that you link a Facebook page to that Instagram business page. That was something that I had to learn and figure out the hard way. If you don't have a Facebook business page or a Facebook page connected to your Instagram page, none of this will work, and you will be left wondering why. What you'll need to do is you will need to actually connect the two over at business.facebook.com. As you can see here, I've got a few of my test setups so that you can see for yourself. And the other thing that you've got to do, which is really annoying, which is a really huge pain, is go over to developers.facebook.com to kind of connect everything and set everything up. So let's go back over to our workflow. It looks like everything worked without a hitch, so that's always good. And if I just refresh the screen here, can dogs eat garbanzo beans? Look at that. That is really, really cool. After you set this up, you set it up once, it's completely hands off. This runs for me every, I believe, 12 hours and 1 minute, and I don't have to do anything. If we look, can dogs eat garbanzo beans? It's got all of these garbanzo beans in the background. We've got a cute puppy here, which will always instantly grab people's attention. And then it answers the question, which is most important, and it's really designed to spark conversation. So let's go ahead and take a look at this workflow step by step. As I mentioned, this is a trigger that happens every 12 hours and 1 minute. I want it to be seen not as AI or automated, and then it searches the Airtable based on we want it to return 1, and it's looking for a image or a row that has not been uploaded to Instagram. So you can see there I've got that simple filter there. After that, once it finds it, we actually make an image. Now, what's really important in the reason why I'm able to get such high quality images is I'm using ChatGPT image 1. It is the newest one out there. It is the most high powered, but it does come with a problem that takes a little while to figure out. But if we look at this prompt, it's a real simple prompt. So the prompt is create an image, cute puppy surrounded by a primary word. And our primary word here is garbanzo beans. Include text on the screen that says, and then the keyword is can dogs eat garbanzo beans. Now what you can do to find these keywords, there's a few places that you can go. You can go over to a website like Ahrefs. This is a paid keyword research tool. However, they do have a free level as well. You come all the way down to the bottom of the screen, you click on keyword generator, and then you can say something like, you could type in something like can cats eat. Hit enter, just like that. And then you are going to get a bunch of keywords to get you started. This only gives you probably like 20 or 30, but it's a good place to start. And so what you can do is you can copy all of these right into a Google Sheet. Actually, let me show you how I did that. I copied all of these over into a Google Sheet. And then once inside the Google Sheet, I paste it in and it gives us these keywords. Now, the one thing that I did in order to extract the keywords is a couple things. The first thing I did is I copied all of these right into an Airtable. And then I highlighted all of these and then went to data, split text into columns. And then you can actually do based on the separator. So for us, we type in eat, hit enter, and then as you can see there, it actually gives us our primary keyword that we can then copy and paste right into Airtable. Now, I guess if we wanted to, we could make this even more dynamic, and we could ask ChatGPT to give us a prompt, or your favorite LLM to give us a prompt based on can dogs eat or can cats eat. But I wanted to start with some keywords to make sure that it worked. Now, once we have this, we are going to get this base 64 JSON output. You can't put that directly anywhere because it's not going to work. In fact, what you have to do is you have to figure out a way to convert the file into an image, and then eventually you need to convert that image into a link so that you can put it inside of Facebook. And the way that I did that is there's actually a built-in node inside of N88 that you can convert base64 into data, which is essentially the image that we're looking for. Once we have that, we can go up to Amazon S3. I personally like to use Amazon S3. It's a little bit more powerful. It's a little bit more robust. Once we have that, and I'll show you what you have to do inside of Amazon S3 or AWS S3 buckets in order to get this to work. You have to, you want to get a link. You want to get a link so that you can eventually put that link into Facebook so that you can get the image. Now I keep saying Facebook, but really it's Instagram to get the image that you need. Once I have that, I come back over to ChatGPT to create a pretty thorough prompt. Okay, and this is designed to answer the question, to use hashtags, to build conversation and engagement, to start building an Instagram profile. As you can see here, this is a really new account. In fact, my first post was just 18 hours ago. So this is really, really new. It can't get any more newer than this, right? And so if we look, this is a pretty compelling prompt. It gets a really good output. What I would do is I would screenshot this if you can, and then with Max, if you screenshot something, and then you can later copy and paste it, and you can get a pretty good output. And so it actually gives us the output that we're looking for. After that, this is when the annoyance of Facebook pops up. Okay, this is a pain in order to get done, but once you do it once, you never have to relearn it. It's a skill that you have. It's something that you can take with you and implement, and you can implement it faster and easier. So what you have to do in order to get this to work, okay? So you can see here, I've got my Facebook account connected. I have this node here. First and foremost, start a new Instagram professional account, or turn your current account into a professional account. It won't work with creator. It won't work with personal account. It has to be professional. Okay, and the reason why you want to do that is so that you can get this ID here. This ID is incredibly important for a few reasons. That ID actually translates to, if we look over here, that to this node. So really important that you do that. Once you have your Instagram professional account, you are going to want to head on over to business.facebook.com in order to create and make sure that the Instagram account is connected to your business Facebook profile. Now, again, I said this early on in the video, but make sure that you have a Facebook page connected to your Instagram professional account. Okay, if that doesn't work, and it didn't, I did it with doggy snacks and it wound up not working, not having a business page connected, and so it was like really frustrating. I couldn't figure out what was going on. For whatever reason, the way that it's set up, you'll eventually get over to Graph API Explorer, and you're going to have to create an access token. You're going to have to add permissions. Some of the permissions that you need will include Instagram. Let me just change this one. You'll need to include all of these Instagram permissions, or else it won't work. And what you'll need to do to make sure that you are getting what you're supposed to get is eventually you're going to want, and there's a bunch of tutorials on here. Those tutorials themselves are 20 and 30 minutes long. And so I don't want to put you through that. I just want to show you what is possible. And if you are interested in potentially getting this workflow to save you time and potentially help you make more money, and I'll talk about how I'm going to use this to make money, let me know, because I'll I'll tell you how you can get that. Anyway, so what you'll need to do eventually is when you get over to this Graph API Explorer, you can paste in that code here, click submit, and of course I get an error just when this is the frustration of working with this Facebook. It will work, and then all of a sudden you'll get an error and you won't really know what's going on, but for some reason it'll be an error. And then you've got to play with it. I played with this prompt and input and output probably for about 5 or 6 hours yesterday because little things would keep popping up. Now, in general, this should work, right? If I go over to my other Meta business page, oh, this one. So that's why it didn't work, because it's not connected. See, if it's not connected, it's not going to work. But if we go back over here and I've got it set to N8N1 and I paste it in, it should work. Let me try this one. This one definitely should work. Paste it in. All right, submit. Okay, so great. Yeah, that's what you want to do. You want to make sure that you get this ID working. You're going to have to generate an access token. There's a way, the default generate access token or access token that you get only lasts for maybe a couple hours. If you keep clicking on extend access token, you'll be able to get a lifetime token. And that's ultimately what you want, so that you don't have to keep coming back and dealing with this again and again and again. So let me I want to show you that this does work. So where is it? Facebook, doggy snacks, click on that. Okay, and then if I do /media, I should get a list of all of my uploads. It'll be, 5 uploads? Yep, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it'll list all of the uploads. Uploads are in the form of data, which you can see there. For some reason it worked. Okay, so anyway, we go back over here. We've got the Facebook Graph API. It's a post request. Use the version 22. You've got the node here. And then this is when you actually kind of like build the post. This isn't when you post the post, it's where you build the post. And as you can see here, what I do is I actually will link the AWS S3 URL combined with the primary keyword or the seed keyword in order to get the link so that I can build out the image. I can download the image from AWS so that it can be ready to be implemented into Instagram. And then this down here is my caption. And then once all of that happens and it works successfully, we'll do one last step here where we actually post the post. So after all of that, you eventually post the post. And then what I like to do to save money is I want to delete the file, because with the way that S3 works, Amazon AWS S3, is that you will pay for files that are in your bucket. And so I no longer need that file there. And because I have it in a Google Drive, I delete it right away so that it's not costing me more money. Okay, so what we can do real quick is we can kind of go through and I'll show you exactly what I've done, how you can do it, how to potentially make money with this so that you could start your own assets. Now, someone I'm sure is going to ask me, can you do this for free? No, there's no way that you can do this for free because OpenAI is using the API token. So no, you can't do this for free. It will be relatively inexpensive. There's also, I believe, other ways to do this with AWS. There's a toolkit called NCA, No Code Architects, that allows you to kind of do the same thing, in which I've been playing with. And if I can get it to work consistently, I'm going to switch all my stuff over to that. And that'll save me a significant amount of money potentially. So yeah, let's go through and build this out. It's really, most of it's relatively simple. This, as I mentioned, you will do this every 12 hours. So let's go ahead and start a new workflow. And I'm just going to call this IG images, right? And so what we need is we need an Airtable. You can see I've got a few here. You can always just create a new one, start from scratch. Oops, select a workspace. Let's go all workspace. I'm going to call this, let's call this Can Cats Eat. What I like about Airtable is that I can start off with just a basic idea. And then as things change, I can start adding columns. So to start, I'm just going to do edit field, and I'm just going to call this keyword, just like that. And then click save. Here I'm going to edit this field, and I'm going to call this like seed keyword. I'm going to do a single line text here, and then I want to save the caption. So IG caption, that's going to be a long text. And we can start there for now. We can always add things a little bit later. Oh, the one other thing that we want to add is we want to search for keywords that have not been uploaded into IG, right? So we want to do a single line text here, and I'm going to say uploaded to IG. And then I'm going to say no, and then yes, and then I'm going to set no by default. So this is all we really need to get started. If we wanted to, eventually, we could do something like create a link for our Google Drive, but we don't have to do that right now. And so let's go over to ChatGPT. Actually, you know what? Let's do something a little bit different. So we're going to go manual trigger. And the first thing I want to do is I'm going to ask ChatGPT to give us a keyword based on our niche, can cats eat? And we're just going to ask for one. So this is going to be really basic. Give me a keyword for the niche, can cats eat? Only return the keyword, nothing else. And let's see what happens. We're going to test this step. My hope is that it only gives me the keyword, because we know that sometimes ChatGPT likes to give us a whole, diatribe about it. So let's look and see what our output is. Can cats eat? Can cats eat? I'm going to say, for example, can cats eat bacon? Right? So let's test that step. Can cats eat chocolate? Great. So this is exactly what we want. What I would recommend is, if you want to make this a little bit more robust, use a keyword research tool so that you can get keywords that people are actually searching for. But now that we have that, the next step could be to insert this into Airtable. So we could go over to Airtable, we could go create a record, and then connect to Airtable. What you'd want to do is you want to go ahead and create an access token. Many tutorials on YouTube on how to do that. But what we're going to do is we are going to, let's refresh the list here, see if we can get our new one. Did we name our Airtable? Unentitled base. Let's see. Cats, cat. This is going to be the name of this one. Let's refresh this again. Cats. Great. And then we only have that one table. And what we're going to do is we are simply just going to do that, right? So we're going to test the step. Great. We've got an ID, which we'll be able to use later. We can go over here. Boom. Perfect. Now what we might want to do is we might want to modify this so that we want to look and see when it was last modified or last created. Let's do created first. Created time looks good. So now we know that when it was uploaded. Come back over here. That looks good. Now what we should probably do is come back over here. What we could do is we could ask AI to return both an output of can cats eat chocolate and then just our keyword chocolate. But if we continue on, the next thing that we want to do is we want to create an image. So we're going to come back over here. We're going to click this. We're going to click on this. AI. Let's go to OpenAI, and then we're going to go down to generate an image. DALL-E 3 gives good images. However, if you want text on the screen, it has to be the image one, the new one that they just came out with, right? And so what we're going to do is we are going to say, create a cat surrounded by, this is why you want to have your seed keyword, so that you could say, create a cat surrounded by keyword or seed keyword, so then it automatically knows chocolate. But what we can do is we can actually, we can manipulate this just a little bit differently. We could say something like, we are creating an Instagram image about, and then put in our keyword here, just like that. And then we could say, create and image with the text, and then we're going to put that. So let's see what happens when we do this. I'm going to click on test step. Now this does take a little while because it is using that powerful model. Okay. Once that happens, we've got to convert the base 64 into something that we can manipulate or change or adopt. Right. So hopefully this doesn't take too long. We'll come back once this is up and running and it'll show you the result. All right. So this is the result. We are going to click on view. Look at that. Can cats eat cheese? Why was I saying chocolate? Hold on one second. Okay. So what I should have done is I probably should have set the thing here. Simple error that I made. Set the keyword so that we can actually use this keyword again and again and again. So let's go ahead and do that. I was incredibly confused as to why I had cheese when I was looking for chocolate. So we're going to call this keyword just like that. This is the beauty of doing this, right? This is the beauty of AI and AI agents. It's going to output whatever it is that you input. And so I was expecting chocolate and I got cheese. Anyway, if we look at this, I also made another slight mistake, which, isn't terrible. We can still get the output that we want. But what you should do if you want to get the best output is we want to change the resolution to 1024 by 1024, and then you can also respond with a URL. Right? You don't have to. It's just the way that I set it up, and you just simply go respond with URL, check that box, and then it's going to give you that base 64. But we can still use this, right? It's essentially the same thing. From here, we are going to upload this to Amazon S3. So I'm just going to type in AWS S3 here. Like I said, there might be cheaper, less expensive options out there. We're going to click on upload a file. Now, what you will need to do is you will need to create an Amazon S3 account, and you will need to create buckets beforehand, because if you don't create a bucket beforehand, you're going to run into an issue. And so what we would want to do here, and just to show you what this looks like, what we'd want to do here is you can create a free account over on Amazon just to kind of play with it and learn how all of this goes. What you can do is we can go over to general purpose buckets. We can create a bucket, and you want to make sure that you give it a name following the required parameters. So I'm going to say cats, and then a God bowl, just to make sure it's unique. And that looks good. What you'll also want to do is you also want to make sure that it is able to be seen globally. Okay. You're going to have to basically take off all of the permissions and training wheels so that you can get access to it. Right. So general purpose, ACLs, enabled, disabled, all objects in the bucket can be owned by other AWS accounts, access this bucket, and all objects can be used as ACL. So I'm going to leave it like that. And then I'm going to click on create bucket. What you'll wind up doing once you create the bucket, yes, I acknowledge, create bucket. Once you do this, creating the bucket, you can now take cats. You can copy this like that. And then you can put it right into create bucket name. And for the file name, what I will do is I'm just going to keep using that seed keyword. Let's go ahead and we're going to have to re-execute this one more time. So I'm going to click save, and let's disconnect that for now. And let's just test this workflow real quick. And then what we can do is we can also pin this. This is another thing that I learned. You can pin data so that you don't have to keep going back and forth again and again and again. And if you're testing things and you're trying to get things to work and you're worried about costs, keeping costs down, pin as much as you can so that you're not having to go back and forth and keep recreating images and keep spending tokens and money. So if we look at this, can cats eat cheese? I wonder why that happened. Let's go over here, Airtable. Okay, so we've got the image that we want. Let's connect AWS. And here, what we're going to do is we're going to call this our file name. So edit fields, file name, data, And then what we want to do is I check grant full control so that we can get access to this link. So we're going to click test step, and that should work without an issue. It's recreating this image, which I do not like, because again, it's going to cost me money while this is working. But what should happen is I should be able to access the URL, the image via URL through AWS. So I won't have to necessarily do that anymore, at least not in this training. Please unpin and try again. So I told you to pin, and we did miss a step. The one step that we missed is we need to convert this to from base64, because we've got base64. Convert from base64 to a JSON. And so to do that, that's really simple. We just click on convert, and then convert binary data to JSON, and then move file to base64 string, and then we can just click on test step like this, and now this should work. All right, so now if we check this, we can see we've got what we're looking for. Now we want to connect this to S3 like that, double click. Okay, we've got the file name. I recommend, for ease of access, making the file name as short as possible. And then if we test the step here, hopefully this works. Now, once you have uploaded it to AWS S3, you can see that it says success true. And to verify that, we should be able to go over to our S3 account, click refresh, and there it is. Now, I actually changed the file name for this. I changed the file name to the name of the actual Airtable record, I believe. And the reason why I did that is so that I don't get any spaces. These spaces can mess up your link, and so I wanted to just change that up. And again, that's why I use that seed keyword. Now that we have that, the next step is to actually create a prompt that we can use. And so what we're going to do here is we are going to use ChatGPT or an AI agent, in order to actually create a prompt that we can get the output. Now, things that are important when it comes to creating an Instagram caption is to make sure that it's less than 2,200 characters. Make sure that it includes a few small and medium-sized hashtags. You don't want to have to go after large ones to start. You want to make sure that it answers the question, that it's SEO friendly, because potentially this image has a chance to be seen on Google. It could actually show up on the first page of Google. It could be shown in many places. What we should also do too, now that I'm thinking about this, is that we should probably add at the bottom or somewhere inside of our image is a watermark. One thing let me see if I can add that right away. We could say, please create and add a watermark. Now, I don't know if this is actually going to work. Please create and add a watermark that says owned by cat. Okay, so let's see what happens there. Please create and add a watermark that says owned by cats. Because what's going to happen, what ultimately happens, is someone's going to download this and then re-upload it as their own. So I want to test this workflow here real quick. Let me add in the ChatGPT model that we're going to use. That one's good. And I would just say something like, just to keep this short, I'm going to say, please create a 2,200 word Instagram caption for, and then we're going to grab our keyword here. And we're going to say something like, please answer the question in a helpful tone. One thing that you might want to do, and what you should do, is tell it to act as an expert veterinarian. That'll help give you a better answer. We're also going to say, stay away from using asterisks, talk like a human, and create the caption for a 5th grade reading level. Okay, so I'm gonna save that, and then what I want to do is I want to run this real quick, and I want to see if it will add in, if it'll add in a watermark for us. Because if it does add in a watermark, I'm definitely gonna add that to my main one. Hopefully it'll improve the output. So I'm gonna cancel that, and I'll come back to you once we are done with that. This is our updated image, and I grabbed this over from Amazon S3. Can cats eat tuna? It's got a picture of obviously a canned tuna, a cat, and then at the bottom, owned by cats, which is funny. We could be a little bit more explicit and tell it how we want the watermark added, but you can see it was added. Pretty cool. Now if we go back over here, really the final steps are the Facebook, right? The Facebook annoyance that you've got to go through. So I talked about it a little bit earlier. I'm not going to rehash it. There are a bunch of different tutorials out there that show you how to do it. And for time's sake, I don't want to run through all of that. There are much better tutorials out there that walk you through the process step by step. In fact, I'll link down below in the description the tutorial that I have referred to a couple times that allowed me to get this done quicker and easier. But really the last couple steps are to upload to Facebook. So prepare the Facebook upload to Facebook, and then add another Airtable updating the record. So if we clicked on this, I'm just going to assume that we've got the Facebook uploaded taken care of. Then we're going to click on update a record, and then we find the record that we want to update. We're going to go cats. We are going to go to our only table here. We can find it quickly. Refresh. There we go, table 1, and then we have to map it based on ID. What we can do is we could add in our IG caption and then change this to yes. So let me just verify one thing. Okay, so IG is there. We can copy this over like that, and now we've got that IG caption that we could repurpose to other platforms. So I click on test step just to show you what that looks like. That worked, and to verify that, we should, there we go. Oops, there we go. This is the IG captions, change to yes, and we can just go from there. And this actually gives us keywords that we could potentially use for other stuff, whether it's a YouTube video, it's creating TikToks, whatever it might be. Let me know if you have any questions. This, like I mentioned, this can be kind of a pain to get set up, but the good news is once you have it set up once, you don't have to worry about it ever again. It will run on autopilot as long as you obviously keep paying. Let me know if you have any questions. What I plan to do real quick, the way that I plan on using this is I plan on starting off putting affiliate links. So if we looked at my, do I have it here? If we looked at my Instagram account, as I mentioned, it's bare bones, basic. It's just getting started. What I plan on doing is obviously editing my profile and adding a bio. And to do that, I'll just show you what that looks like real quick. I'm going to say act as a Instagram marketing expert. We need to create a 150 character bio for our new page. Our page is about helping dog owners decide what their pets can and cannot eat. So we're going to get this bio quick, get it updated, add that, and then to begin, I'm just going to monetize it with affiliate marketing, right? Helping dog owners know what their pups can and can't eat, avoid toxic foods, discover treats. So let's go with this one. This one's good enough. Copy that, paste it in just like that. And what we can do is I can go out and find affiliate links. I can go out and find digital products. So maybe I go over to a PLR website, private label rights. So I'm just going to type in PLR, private label rights. Let's go to this one. And I click search and I type in dog. And now I've got a bunch of things that I could potentially buy or um, buy and repurpose. Look at 23 natural dog food. So I could buy this for $4.99 and repurpose it, either give it away as a lead magnet or sell it for $7 and start making money. But to begin with, I'm just probably going to start with affiliate marketing because that's the quickest way to start making money. I can join like Amazon. Amazon has an affiliate program. Grab a link and say, click below for my #1 recommended dog treat, right? Or a healthy dog treat. And so another option is I could buy this for $27 and bundle it together and sell it for $17. I'm not sure what's all in here, but you can go that route. Another route would be to use ChatGPT to help you build out. What you could do really nowadays is you could use ChatGPT to come up with a course, maybe a course on how to cook healthy snacks for your dog. And then you could use something like AI to actually do the voiceover and the narration. And then you could essentially just kind of do like text on the screen in order to get done. Or you could even make this into like a PowerPoint presentation. I believe there are AI out there that'll do PowerPoint presentations, and you could do all of that. Or you could read the text on the screen yourself and save some time. But that's essentially what you could do. That's how I would go about making money with this. But to start, I'm going to start with affiliate marketing here, and because this is automated, this is pretty hands off, and I can go back and check on this every few days just to make sure that it's still working and to see if I'm kind of building and growing. So let me know what you think in the comment section below, but I'm just blown away at how you can create these types of images. The image looks, I would say, about 75% real. You'd have to take a very close look to realize, and it's pretty much the same dog. Pretty close to the same dog. The images alone should stop the scroll. The images alone should spark conversation. Someone's going to say, well, how did you get the dog to sit still that long? I know that's going to be the #1 question. Also, I can now take these images and potentially upload them into TikTok. In fact, I might do that and see how that goes. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. If you want to learn how to get started with AI agents and use AI agents to make money, make sure you follow this account and watch this video next.